Hey, this is Dr. Gary. Welcome to the Daily Tune-Up today. This last weekend I had the opportunity to work with a couple. They came a long ways to work with me. They were having communication problems or misunderstanding what the other person's intentions were. And it made me realize that one of the most important things I can share with you is to understand that each of us have a different style of the way we understand things. Sometimes I call it a complex equivalence, but it's actually even simpler than that. Most people are unaware of this communication style that the other person may have and really doesn't understand how to work with it. So here's how it goes. Some of us receive information and what we have a primary representation of how we understand the world. Now, I'm a visual person, so I talk in visual phrases. I like the way that looks. I see what you mean. Oh, that's getting really clear to me. That's the kind of language I use, and that's a hint to someone talking to me that I'm a visual individual. And if they reflect those same kind of predicates or descriptive phrases back to me, I'm going to think they're a lot like me. I'm going to be instantly in rapport, and it's going to help me understand them or them understand me. If someone is not in the same representation system I am, let's say they're auditory, and I'm a visual, an auditory person hears what you're saying, and then they translate that in through their neurology, and what happens is they re-speak it to themselves. What auditory digital means is they're talking to themselves. So they're going to attempt to understand what I'm saying using visual terms and convert it to auditory, and that doesn't work very well. If I want to make sense to an auditory person, I have to use auditory phrases. Oh, I hear what you're saying. Yes, that also rings a bell to me. That's one that kind of works with visual and auditory. Wow, that sounds good to me. That's music to my ears. I'm understanding more and more how the note of what you're saying makes sense. That's speaking auditorily. Now, some people, when you talk to them, they actually feel their way through life, which means when you say something to them, it's how they feel about what you said. They convert it all to feelings internally. We call those kinesthetic people. So if a visual person is talking to a kinesthetic person and they're using visual terminology, yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh, yeah, that looks great to me. The kinesthetic person has to translate that, and most of the time that doesn't work. And we can tell what a person is usually by the words they use. A kinesthetic person, oh, this feels right to me. Oh, man, I understand. That touches my heart. They use terms that are feeling terms. If you have a spouse and your spouse is one of these and you're another one, and start listening, you're going to hear it. Start talking and reflecting back to the same kind of words they use to you. And you know, a magical thing happens. The more we speak like someone, the more they think they're a lot like us, and there's instant rapport. Many times a couple can get on the same wavelength if they just pay attention to this one rule. NLP, we call this our primary representation systems: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. And when we pay attention to that, what happens is magic. Conversational magic, rapport, and all of a sudden that other person understands us. It takes a little bit of work. We have to pay attention. You can do it. Let's practice that, and let's work on it this week. So until tomorrow, this is Dr. Gary asking you to have very clear communications. Bye-bye.